So continuing on, this is part 5. 5. And this is bag number 1. These are... there was 5 bags, but I've condensed a lot of movies down. So this is bag number 1. This is going to be quite an interesting video because there's only a few of these that are actually in Amaray cases. The rest of them, as you can see, are in these little things. So this is the DVD collection. I've done a lot. There is a box here which is full of DVDs, which I've shown on camera, but these are the ones that I am starting to pack up for when we inevitably have to move. Well, when we'll be kicked out of the house, I guess. So, kicking this off. First off, we've got Bugsy Malone. Great movie from 1976. Directed by, I want to say Alan Parker. Yeah, directed by Alan Parker, starring Scott Baio, Jodie Foster. Great music by Paul Williams. Who else is in this? Horry Duggar as Blousy, and John Cassisi as Fat Sam. Fat Sam's Grand Slam. Absolutely amazing movie. I almost put this into a plastic sleeve, but then I decided I want to have Bugsy Malone on a shelf when I get the chance to. So I've kept it in the box, and it's got this really cool booklet with it as well, which is great. This was, and believe it or not, when I had the box, I found the box and it had a $14.99 Woolworths sticker on it, so that was quite a bit of a throwback. Love Bugsy Malone, absolutely cracking movie. Then we have the anniversary edition of Leon. This, I believe, I got from Korea. Again, another Korean purchase from eBay. This is legit. It's not a boot or anything. It's a really, really good edition. Look at this. It's really nice. This is Region 3 NTSC. Such a lovely collection or edition. Jean Reno on the inside.
Grab the axe off the wall. Over there. Go on.
Natalie Portman. Let me see if I can show you. Natalie Portman. I think this one is, this is Gary Oldman in this one. But yeah, this was really good. I think I paid 15 quid for this. This was prior to me owning the Blu-ray, which I don't know if you can see. It's right by there, where my finger is. But yeah, this is such a lush edition, and I just love the slipcase and how it feels really smooth as well. Just a really nice edition. Dolph Lundgren in Command Performance. This is sort of Die Hard at a rock concert. It's not bad. It's directed by Dolph Lundgren, and it's a fun movie. Yeah, it is what it is. It's Dolph Lundgren shooting terrorists for 90 minutes, and it's just a lot of fun. So yeah, Command Performance. This show could be deadly. He plays a drummer in a rock band who decides to take on the terrorists. Silly film, fun movie. Then we have Avenging Force, starring Michael Dudikoff from the American Ninja movies. This is my favourite Michael Dudikoff movie because this is a pretty dark movie. It's directed by Sam Furstenberg, who did a lot of the the later canon movies, I guess. Steve James is in it, William Wallace and John P. Ryan. This is a Matt Hunter movie. I think it's the same character that Chuck Norris plays in Invasion USA. I believe it is. But yeah, this is a really good film. I want to get this on Blu-ray actually. But yeah, it goes quite dark. It starts off with quite cheesy action like what you expect from a canon movie, and then it gets towards the end, and there's like a chase through the swamp, but it's really well shot or really well directed by Sam Furstenberg. Director of photography was Gideon Porath. Yeah, I enjoy it. I like Avenging Force. It's a good film. Then we have The Goat, The Gauntlet, with the amazing Frank Frazetta artwork on the front, depicting Sandra Locke and Clint Eastwood. Great movie, directed by Clint himself, music by Jerry Fielding, produced by Robert Daly. Just so good. He's so cool. He is so cool. Like I fucking love Clint Eastwood movies. Such a good film, this one. Got Pat Hingle in it as well from Batman, played Commissioner Gordon. Duel. Amazing film. I watched this the other day. Just amazing. Spielberg's first film. And yeah, just amazing. We all love Duel. I need to get the 4K of this. I do. But for the time being, this DVD will have to suffice. And we've got Posse, starring Mario Van Peebles, Stephen Baldwin, and Billy Zane. This was directed by Mario Van Peebles. This was directed by Mario Van Peebles. Who else is in this? Richard Gant, Richard Jordan. Oh, cool. I forgot Richard Jordan was in this. Big Daddy Kane, Charles Lane, Tiny Lister, Tone Lock, Sally Richardson, Blair Underwood, Mario Van Peebles. Reggie. Oh, it says Reggie Val Johnson, but it's Reginald Val Johnson from is it Family Matters, but I know him as Al from Die Hard. Billy Zane, music by Michael Columba, I think. Written by Cy Richardson and Dario Scarpani. I can't even read that, but I like Posse. I think it's a cool 90s western. I'm gonna keep that out and watch that tonight or tomorrow. Jean-Claude Van Damme in 6 Bullets. Another film directed by Ernie Barbarash. It's okay. It's not great. It also stars Joe Flanagan. I don't know if you can see him there. Joe Flanagan is from Stargate Atlantis, which for me was the best Stargate TV show. Death Warrant, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. This movie's badass. Directed by Darren Sarafian. It's got George Dickerson in it. Cynthia Gibb. What happened to Cynthia Gibb? Robert Guillaume and Patrick Kilpatrick. Cynthia Gibb. She was cool. She was hot. Written by David S. Goyer. So this is written by the writer of Blade and Batman Begins. Double Impact. I can't fucking speak tonight. Double Impact. Jean-Claude Van Damme playing twins, as he does quite often. Sheldon Lettich movie. Who else is in this? Jeffrey Lewis. I knew it was someone. Jeffrey Lewis. Alan Scarf. Produced by Jean-Claude Van Damme. Screenplay by Sheldon Lettich and Jean-Claude Van Damme. So go on, Jean-Claude. And this is early. This is early Van Damme. This is what, 1992? I think it was. No, 1991. So Van Damme had already started having input on the films that he was doing, which is really cool. This film's okay. I think it gets too much praise for being what it is. I actually, for the films where he plays twins, I prefer Maximum Risk and Replicant. Well, Replicant's technically not twins. They're clones. Then we have another Michael Dudikoff movie, American Ninja, the iconic American Ninja from Canon Films, Golden Globus, Again, this was directed by Sam Firstenberg. This also has some of the same cast as Avenging Force. This also has Stephen James. It's got Tadashi Yamashita, Gucci Cook. What a name. Judy Aronson. Aaron A. Aronson. Yeah, decent film. It's okay. I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be. Then we have The Peacekeeper, starring Dolph Lundgren. In a... It's not a great movie, but it's got Roy Scheider in it, and Roy Scheider is fucking awesome. I don't even know who directed this. There's no credits on the back. Unless it's on the front. No, there's no. I have no idea who directed The Peacekeeper. If anybody out there knows who directed Peacekeeper, please let me know. Because I can't check IMDb because I'm using my phone. Now we're into the sleeved films. First we have The Horde. This is a French zombie film which is absolutely bonkers. Really cool movie. The Die Hard of zombie flicks. It looks a little bit dated now, but it was a lot of fun. I think it's 2010. Yeah, 2010 this one came out. Good zombie flick. Then we have The Host. Amazing movie, The Host. Korean monster movie. There's someone in the beginning of this who I can't remember who it is. I think it's shit. What's his name? From The Walking Dead. Maggie's dad. Begins with a H. Oh, I've drawn a blank. He's in this at the beginning. This is so good, this movie. Then we have what started out as a joke. Hobo with a Shotgun, which originated as a fake trailer for Grindhouse. It was the sort of Grindhouse competition they had to make the fake trailers. And Hobo with a Shotgun, I think, won. This is directed by Jason Eisner, who also directed segments in the VHS films and a film called Kids vs. Aliens, which came out, I believe, either last year or the year before. I don't get it. I love Grindhouse movies. I love exploitation flicks. But, yeah, this ain't great. I don't understand why people really like it. It's not good. Rutger Hauer is awesome in this. And it does have the theme for the raccoons at the end. Run with us, that song. But it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. Then we have The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp. This was directed by Roman Polanski. I'm not a fan of Roman Polanski, however, I do like this film. I think this film's really, really good. Very good occult movie. Johnny Depp's great in it as well. The Relic, directed by Peter Hyams, starring Penelope Ann Miller and Tom Sizemore. I don't know if Tom Sizemore was on drugs during this or not. R.I.P. Tom Sizemore. He had all his issues, but Tom Sizemore was great in everything. Everything I saw him in. He was in Harley Davidson and Marlboro Man. He was in True Romance, Natural Born Killers. Great in Saving Private Ryan. He was a really good character actor, but he had too many issues. But this is a great movie, great monster movie from Peter Hyams. CGI looks a little bit dated now, but that's what happens when you make a movie in 1997 or 1998, should I say, where they have a monster that is done CG. The worst Peter Hyams film is Sound of Thunder, which is an adaptation of I want to say a Ray Bradbury story. I think it's Ray Bradbury. About sort of like time travel to dinosaurs of safari thing that goes horribly wrong. It's got what's his name, Ed Burns from Saving Private Ryan in it. But The Relic's great. Fright Night, starring Chris Sarandon, Roddy McDowall, Amanda Bearse. I only knew Amanda Bearse from Married with Children. Directed by Tom Holland. Great vampire flick. So good. Classic of the 80s. Fire in the Sky. If you've never seen Fire in the Sky, track down a copy of this film, because this film scared the bejesus out of me. Absolutely cracking alien abduction thriller. Directed by Robert Lieberman, starring, what's his name? D.B. Sweeney, Robert Patrick, Craig Sheffer, Peter Berg, and James Garner. Why did I put this in a sleeve? I was going to keep this out in a DVD, or I might swap it out with something else. But yeah, Fire in the Sky is a cracker. Absolute corker of a movie. Really, really underrated. Batteries Not Included. Classic 80s movie directed by Matthew Robbins, starring what? I did not know that. So the film was written by Matthew Robbins, Brent Maddock, and S.S. Wilson, from a story by Mick Garris, but also the screenplay was written by Brad Bird of Disney's, Pixar's The Incredibles, The Iron Giant, Tomorrowland, one of the Mission Impossible movies, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, I think, and worked on The Simpsons. Batteries Not Included is great. I believe half the cast in this is also the cast of Cocoon. Great movie. Supergirl, starring Faye Dunaway, Helen Slater, Peter O'Toole. Who directed this one? Jeannot Schwartz. Oh, Peter O'Toole's in this as well as Zatar, and I believe there. Yes, so there is a role for Mark McClure in this as Jimmy Olsen. He also played Jimmy Olsen in the Superman movies, and it's been a long time since I saw Supergirl, and I do enjoy it. It's a bit silly and a bit cheap, but it's fun. Alexander Salkind and Ilya Salkind present Supergirl. Yeah, Supergirl's fun. It's okay. It's no Superman. It's better than Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Great movie by John Badham. War Games, Matthew Broderick, Dabney Coleman, John Wood, Ali Sheedy. So good. So good. Would you like to play a game? Yes. How about thermonuclear war? I love this movie. It's been years since I watched it. I'm going to have to watch it again soon. Yeah, War Games is freaking awesome. The Company Business, starring Gene Hackman and Mikhail Baryshnikov. This was directed by Nicholas Meyer. Nicholas Meyer is a great director. Directed The Day After, which was the nuclear holocaust movie. That was made for, I think it was made as a 2-part TV serial. But he also did some of the best Star Trek movies. I think he did Wrath of Khan, The Search for Spock. No, he didn't. He did Wrath of Khan and Undiscovered Country, because The Search for Spock and Voyage Home were directed by Leonard Nimoy, and then The Final Frontier, which is Star Trek 5, was directed by William Shatner. But yeah, Nicholas May is a great director. I have to admit, I haven't seen this. I've never seen this. This is one that I've got, and I've just never got around to it. But it's Gene Hackman. Why have I not watched it? I have seen The Last Castle. I've seen The Last Castle multiple times. The Last Castle is a fucking great movie. A massively underrated film. Robert Redford, James Gandolfini, Mark Ruffalo, and Delroy Lindo. It's directed by Rod Lurie as well. Yeah, I think this is a great film. I think it's massively underrated. Robert Redford is great in this. James Gandolfini is fantastic in this. Even Mark Ruffalo. This is one of Mark Ruffalo's earliest films, I believe. Just a good prison movie.
Now you've got yourself a castle.
Delicatessen by Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Caro. I've never watched this. I've heard it's very good, but I've just not got round to it. I'm not a massive fan of Jean-Pierre Jeunet. I've seen a few of his. I've seen City of Lost Children, and Amelie. I wasn't a fan of Amelie. I thought it was just a bit bleh. But I have seen Jean-Pierre Jeunet's Alien movie, which is Alien Resurrection, which is okay. It's better than Alien. No, is it better than Alien 3? I think Alien 3 Extended Edition is a far better film than it has any right to be. Then we have this, which is the Spaghetti Western collection, featuring Lee Van Cleef, Jack Palance, Jeffrey Hunter, Cameron Mitchell, and more. There is over 32 hours. The films on this, I can't even fucking read. Death Rides a Horse, China 9, Liberty 37, White Comanche, and The Grand Jewel and God's Gun are probably the standouts in this collection. But again, this is one of those multiple. It's a 20 movie selection, and the quality's not great. I'd say probably Death Rides a Horse and The Grand Jewel are the big boys in that section or selection of movies. Robot Chicken, Star Wars. I love Robot Chicken. It's so silly, so absolutely bonkers. Is this all of them? I think it might be all of them, because it's 195 minutes, so I believe it's really, really like Robot Chicken. Classic 80s comedy now with The Great Outdoors, starring Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. It's been years since I watched this. Howard Deutsch directing. Who else is in this? There's someone else in this as well. I can't remember who plays. It was written by John Hughes as well, so John Hughes is amazing. I can't really read it because of the way the thing's done. I just can't read it properly. But yeah, there you go. There's a Great Outdoors. Where do we get to? Raw Chicken. Then we have Richard Gere in Breathless, directed by Jim McBride. This is a remake of what's the name of the film? I think it's a remake of Breathless, the French New Wave movie. This is referenced in True Romance, but I have never watched it. History of Violence, amazing film. I watched this on Netflix the other night. Seen it loads of times. Thoroughly enjoyed it last time I watched it. Great movie. Probably David Cronenberg's most accessible movie, I'd say. This and Eastern Promises. But if you're a horror fan, you probably started with something like Scanners or Shivers or Rabid or The Fly. Not necessarily his crime films. But yeah, great movie. Viggo Mortensen's fantastic in this, as is Maria Bello. And I think it was William Hurt got an Oscar nomination for his role in this, where he's only in it for about 6 minutes, I think it is. But yeah, History of Violence is amazing. Howard the Duck. George Lucas presents Howard the Duck. This has had multiple releases since this. It's had a Blu-ray, it's had a special edition Blu-ray, and it's also now had a 4K. It's shit. Let's face it. It's crap. It's a crap movie. It was a crap movie when it came out, and it's still a crap movie. However, it does have moments of pure joy. Mainly Leah Thompson being cute as hell. But yeah, Howard the Duck's rubbish. That's why I've only kept the DVD and not bought any like Blu-rays or anything. Another crap film. Saturn 3, starring Kirk Douglas, Farrah Fawcett, and Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel was dubbed over in this movie. I don't know why, but it's not good. It's not a good movie. It's directed by... produced and directed by Stanley Donen, which makes me sad, because Stanley Donen co-directed Singing in the Rain with Gene Hackman, and that film is absolutely phenomenal. Great music by Elmer Bernstein, screenplay by Martin Amis, the novelist, and story by John Barry. I thought it was John Barry was the guy who did the music for James Bond. Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. I really need to get a Blu-ray of this. I love this movie. Not as much as I love the first one, but this movie is really, really fucking cool. Sean Patrick Flannery, Norman Reedus, The Walking Dead. Clifton Collins Jr. is great in this. Julie Benz from Angel and Rambo 4. Peter Fonda and Billy Connolly. Yeah, really fun movie. I do love the Boondock Saints. I did the first time I saw the first movie. The Brave One from Neil Jordan, starring Jodie Foster and Naveen Andrews. Who else is in this? Nicky Katt, Mary Steenburgen. Produced by Joel Silver and Susan Downey. Written by Roderick Taylor and Bruce A. Taylor and Cynthia Mort. I know who Roderick Taylor and Bruce Taylor are, but I don't know who Cynthia Mort is. I watched this when it first came out, and I haven't really watched it since, so I can't really remember a lot about this. I know that she gets attacked on a train, but Naveen Andrews from Lost is in this. He played Saeed. Yeah. Another film I've never seen, Jacob's Ladder, and one everyone says, Pete, you're going to watch Jacob's Ladder. It's good. It's an Adrian Lyne film. He directed 9.5 Weeks and Fatal Attraction. Don't really know much about this. I know that it's about a Vietnam War vet who hallucinates or something. It's Tim Robbins and Elizabeth Pena, and Danny Aiello. So I don't know. It's just one that I've had for a long, long time. I've just never got around to watching it. We got James Spader in Jack's Back, a comedy horror thriller from the director of Roadhouse and The Stick Up, and I want to say Striking Distance. I think it is Striking Distance. Yeah, Rowdy Harrington. This is James Spader and Cynthia Gibb. Cynthia Gibb again. Oh, she was in a really, really bad Steven Seagal movie. Robert Picardo, Rod Loomis, Jim Hain. Written and directed by Rowdy Harrington. I watched this a while back. Fun movie. Quite enjoyed it. Another classic 80s movie, Working Girl, with Harrison Ford, Melanie Griffiths, and Sigourney Weaver. Never been a fan of Melanie Griffiths. I like maybe one or two films. Working Girl, she's alright in, and Cherry 2000, I like her in. But Sigourney Weaver's awesome in everything. Working Girl, Harrison Ford, Han Solo, and Ripley in the movie together. Really cool. Who directed this? Mike Nichols. Good old Mike Nichols. Music by Carly Simon. Yeah, there we go. Working Girl. However, I have watched this multiple times. Pretty Woman, starring Richard Gere and Julia Roberts, directed by Gary Marshall, and just a great movie. Great movie. Julia Roberts was hot in this film, although that's not her body. That's just her face, not her body. That's a body double. But awesome movie. Casper the Friendly Ghost, starring Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci. It's a fun movie. Directed by Brad Silberling. Cathy Moriarty, Eric Idle. I haven't seen this for years. I picked this up in a charity shop for 20p, and it was still sealed. So I was just like, I haven't watched Casper for years. So I was like, I'll pick it up, and it just sat on my shelf. So I thought I'll save a box and I'll pop it in a sleeve. But I remember really enjoying Casper. I know there's a couple of cameos. There's one from Mel Gibson, and I think there's one from Dan Aykroyd as well. And we have Ghost Ship. Fun horror movie. Who directed this? Steve Beck. Produced by Joel Silver and Robert Zemeckis. Interesting. Written by Mark Hanlon and John Pogue. Starring Ron Eldard, Desmond Harrington, Isaiah Washington, Gabriel Byrne, and Juliana Margulies from ER. Fucking opening on this movie is amazing. And then it just sort of goes a little bit boring. But yeah, it's okay. It's not great. I've seen better ghost ship horror movies. Death Ship with Donald Pleasance. Now that's a good movie. Red Planet. I've talked about this when I was talking about what was it? Mission to Mars. There we go. So Val Kilmer, Carrie-Anne Moss, Tom Sizemore. I like Red Planet. I like it. I prefer Mission to Mars, but Red Planet is okay. Is this the one that's got... Yeah, it's got Simon Baker and Terence Stamp in it. Directed by Anthony... Can't even read that because the back is red. But yeah, it's alright. I know there's a robot in this as well, which is a bit of a dick to him. Then we have Michael Jackson in Moonwalker, co-starring Joe Pesci as Mr. Big, I believe it is. Co-starring Sean Lennon, Kelly Parker, Brandon Adams from People Under the Stairs and the Mighty Ducks, and Joe Pesci, yeah, as Mr. Big. Original music, oddly enough, is not by Michael Jackson, but it's by Bruce Broughton, who I have talked about in, again, videos where I've praised his work and how his music is underrated. He did the score for The Boy Who Could Fly and Young Sherlock Holmes. Great composer. Moonwalker is essentially just a series of music videos with a very like a 35-minute short film at the end. But I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, and this just it's great. It is nostalgia for me. Then we have Marooned, starring Gregory Peck and Gene Hackman. Good sci-fi drama set relatively in the real world. James Franciscus is also in it. Richard Crenna, David Jansen, and it's directed by John Sturges as well. And John Sturges is one of my favourite 60s, 50s and 60s period or era directors. Yeah, good film. This is a massively underrated science fiction movie, The Forgotten, with Julianne Moore. Anthony Edwards is also in this. It was directed by Joseph Rubin. This is about a woman whose child is sort of kidnapped, and she tries to find out what happened to the child, and then there's this whole alien abduction thing. There's some creepy moments in this, but yeah, it's really, really underrated as well. I highly recommend The Forgotten. It's like a forgotten movie. Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, directed by Tony Scott. So I've got quite a few Tony Scott movies. Robert Duvall, Tom Cruise, Randy Quaid, Nicole Kidman, Cary Elwes. Music by Hans Zimmer. Produced by Don Simpson, and Jerry Bruckheimer. Story by Robert Towne and Tom Cruise. Screenplay by Robert Towne. Robert Towne is a phenomenal writer of movies. He wrote the screenplay for Chinatown, which is sort of regarded as the greatest script of all time, which is amazing. But yeah, I mean, Days of Thunder's fun. I enjoy it. Then we have M. Night Shyamalan's best movie, Unbreakable, starring Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. It is his best film. I'm not a fan of The Sixth Sense, but I do really, really like Unbreakable. I think it's a really good sort of look at the superhero phenomenon. Then we have The Diary of Ellen Rimbauer. I spoke about this the other day when I was looking at Rose Red. Again, this is one I've never watched. I don't know why. I think it was because I really like Rose Red. I just didn't see the point of seeing a prequel to it. But I will watch it. I seem to be going through a lot more of my DVDs. Then we have the first American Pie movie, the Ultimate Edition from 1999. Was it 99? I think it was 99 or 1998. Yeah, sorry, 1998. American Pie is just iconic now. It's got to the point where American Pie is just an iconic film.
Like warm apple pie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Great cast. You've got Mina Savari, you've got Jason Biggs, you've got Tara Reid, Shannon Elizabeth, Sean William Scott, Alison Hannigan, what's his name? That guy and this and that woman. What's her name? Oh fuck me! This is doing my edit now. Thomas Ian Nicholas, Eugene Levy, Natasha Lyonne. That's right, Natasha Lyonne, who kind of had like a career as an indie actress before she was in this, and I think she was in Confessions of a Trick Baby, and then it's Help I'm a Cheerleader or something like that. Confessions of a Trick Baby was a sequel to a film starring Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland, which was, I can't remember, what the fuck was that called? Highway, I think it was called. I think it was called Highway. But American Pie is just great. I love American Pie. I remember seeing American Pie 2 in the cinema. It was hilarious. And then the classic Wayne's World 2. Wayne's World. I'm probably one of the only people who actually prefers Wayne's World 2 over Wayne's World, even though I love both of them equally. There's just something about Wayne's World 2 that like makes me giggle every time. It's not that it's a better film. It probably isn't. But Chris Farley in this, why don't you go home? I can't. I got no place else to go. Love it. Yeah, Wayne's World 2 is great. Let's pop that in there. So then we have Chris Rock in Down to Earth, which is, I think it's a remake of another movie. I think it's a remake of a film called Down to Earth, I think. But Chris Rock plays a stand-up comedian who's not doing very good. Well, he's doing quite well, and he gets hit by a car, if I remember rightly, and goes up to heaven, but he was taken too early. So the only way that they can put things right is to put him back on Earth, but in the body of a rich old white man. And it's funny. It's got a good cast in it. It's got Chris Rock, Eugene Levy, Mark Addy, Regina King. It is Regina King, isn't it? Yeah, Regina King, who's amazing in everything. And Chaz Palminteri as well. So, yeah, good movie. Fun. I really like that. My favourite Chris Rock movie is actually downstairs at the moment in the living room, and it is Head of State. Night of the Living Dead remake, directed by Tom Savini, with a screenplay by George A. Romero. I think one of the reasons they did, Romero rewrote this and remade Night of the Living Dead was because with the original Night of the Living Dead, it was never copyrighted. So if you remember looking through like DVD sales and stuff over years and years and years, there's always like multiple different releases of Night of the Living Dead. The reason is because anybody could have just got hold of a copy of the film, slapped it on a disc and sold it because there was no copyright. There was no copyright on it. So I think copyrighting this version of Night of the Living Dead, this screenplay of Night of the Living Dead, allowed Romero to basically, I guess, retain some ownership of the title. But Tony Todd, Patricia Tallman, this has some of the best zombies in as well. Some of the best zombie makeup. Great film. Actually prefer the remake to the original. And I love the original. I've got the fucking Criterion Blu-ray. Galaxy Quest. Let's face it, Galaxy Quest is amazing. I'm not going to go over this, but yeah, Galaxy Quest is fantastic.
By grab Thor's hammer we live to tell the tale.
Body Double. Brian De Palma's Body Double starring... who is it? Craig Wasson, Greg Henry and Melanie Griffiths. I think I said I've never watched it. It's one of the only Brian De Palma films I haven't seen. Twilight Zone the movie, directed by multiple different people. Steven Spielberg, Yeah, so there was one directed by John Landis, which, we know how that ended. One directed by Spielberg, one directed by Joe Dante, and one directed by George Miller. Who's is it? I think it might be Joe Dante's one. Is or it might be Spielberg. I can't remember who did what. Segment 2. I can't remember who directed the Nightmare at 50,000 feet or whatever it's called. I can't remember if it was George Miller, Joe Dante, or Steven Spielberg. I know it wasn't John Landis, because he did the one with the kids and what's his name? I can't remember now. But I really like Twilight Zone, the movie. I think it's a good film. Then we have Bound, the full uncut version, starring Gina Gershon, Jennifer Tilly, and Joe Pantoliano. Directed by the Wachowski brothers, as it says on there, but now they are just known as the Wachowskis because they have both transitioned. This is a really cool sort of noir-y, erotic thriller, I guess, crime drama. Jennifer Tilly is still a good-looking woman. So is Gina Gershon, to be honest. But yeah, they're both really, really good in this film. Joey Pants, always great in everything. But yeah, it's a good film, Bound. And we have The Hot Rock, starring Robert Redford and George Segal, or Segal. Directed by Peter Yates, from the director of Steve McQueen's Bullet, which is probably one of the greatest car chases of all time. It's not the greatest car chase of all time. Everybody says, oh, Bullet's got the best car chase of all time. No, it was the first car chase to not use rear projection. It was the first car chase to be done practically on the streets. Then it was followed by, I guess, like the French Connection and the 7-Ups and stuff. And then it's been, like, car chases have been, like, evolving over the years to the point where it's all done in fucking computers now. Because poor stunt man. Hot Rock's fun movie. I really like this film. It's like a heist movie, but it's also a comedy and it's fun. Who directed this one? Yeah, Peter Yates. What am I talking about? Yeah. Donnie Brasco, great gangster movie from Mike Newell. I had to double check that then. Al Pacino, Johnny Depp, Michael Madsen is in this, I believe. Yeah. Bruno Kirby, the late Bruno Kirby. James Russo, Anne Heche, the late Anne Heche. Great movie. It's a fugazi. Al Pacino was amazing in this, as is Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, he was doing some great roles. He's done some really sinister gangster movies. Like he's great in this. I know he plays a FBI agent or undercover cop within the mob, but Black Mass, where he played Whitey Bulger. Oh my God, such a great performance. Then we have this. It's called Top of the World, starring Peter Weller, Dennis Hopper, and Tia Carrera. This is an action movie. Again, this doesn't tell you who directed it. Oh, actually, does it? It was Sidney J. Furie who directed. I want to say he did the Ipcrest File. And he did a couple of other like well-known 60s and 70s movies before he ended up in straight-to-DVD land. But this has got, apart from them, it also has David Alan Grier, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, Martin Cove, Kevin Bernhardt, with Peter Coyote and Joey Pants. Joey fucking Pants, man. I remember this being really fun and really exciting and just a good fun movie. I don't know why it's an 18, but Peter Weller's just great and everything. And so is Dennis Hopper, and Tia Carrera has always been attractive. Yeah, I think this ends with like a shootout on a dam. It's been a while since I watched it, but I do remember enjoying that one. Then we have The Tournament with Robert Carlyle, Kelly Hu, Ian Somerhalder, and Ving Rhames. It's an okay British gangster movie, well, action movie. There's some good stunt work in this. Also, Scott Adkins is in this as well. It's okay. I know I have seen this. I've seen The Public Enemy, but I cannot remember anything about it. I've definitely seen it. It's a Korean cop thriller thing. But yeah, I can't really remember anything about it, even though I know I've seen it. The classic, The Blues Brothers, with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. I also have, somewhere, Blues Brothers 2000 with John Goodman replacing John Belushi, even though he's not playing Jake. Yeah, even though he's not playing Jake, he plays a character that basically just takes the place of Jake, of John Belushi's character. But yeah, how can you not love the Blues Brothers? It's amazing.
The fabulous Blues Brothers.
Harry and the Hendersons, starring a Bigfoot and John Lithgow. I remember watching the TV show of this when I was a kid. And I remember there was the movie. Such a weird film. It's a film about Bigfoot living with a family. Such an odd movie. Yeah. Music by Bruce Broughton. See, Bruce Broughton got about, and I think he's a massively underrated film composer. So yeah, there we go. That's Harry and the Hendersons. Oh, I have to pull these forward to make a bit of room. This is actually going to be a lot longer than I was expecting, because we've still got a few more to go. We have Unlawful Entry with Kurt Russell, Ray Liotta and Madeline Stowe. This is a good thriller, really good thriller. Directed by Jonathan Kaplan. Yeah, good film. Major Payne, starring Damon Wayans and what's her name? Karen Parsons, who is Hillary from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Great film. It depends on your tolerance of Damon Wayans, I guess, but I really like this because I watched a lot of his TV show. My Wife and Kids, there we go. Although, he's a bit of a dick, from what I hear. Series 7, The Contenders. This is a bizarre, almost forgotten film. It's a film that is essentially like... what's the word for it? It's a game show where real people are out to kill other people. It's very, very good, but it's like sort of forgotten, and it does overuse the song "Love Will Tear Us Apart" by not Talking Heads. They made a film about him. I can't remember. Love will tear us apart again. That song is overused a bit too much in this. If you can track down a copy of this, or if you can find a copy on YouTube, I highly recommend checking this out, because it's a very odd kind of indie movie that not many people have seen or not many people talk about. But yeah, it's a good film, that one. Batman Gotham Knights. This is the animated one. It's alright. CB4 in the motherfucking house. Coming straight out of low cash. A crazy motherfucker named Gusto. I fucked your wife because the bitch is a big hole. This film's amazing. Like I said, I love Chris Rock, and this film is just such a silly movie. There is another one that came out, not Chris Rock, but I think it's called Fear of Black Hat. That's one I've never gotten around to watching, but CB4 is great. I really enjoy watching CB4, and Chris Rock's just great in it as well. The Wanderers. This DVD is virtually unwatchable because the picture quality is so bad, and I don't know if you can see, it's released by Arrow. This is released pre Arrow Video, so when they were just like a very small indie label. And yeah, The Wanderers. The problem is it's a great film, and this is unwatchable. I might have to buy the Blu-ray. Yeah. Directed by Philip Kaufman as well. Amsterdam by Dick Maas. I bought this because I liked a couple of Dick Maas's other movies. Don't Look Down, which was a remake of his film called The Lift, which I really enjoyed both versions of. I've never watched this. It's been in my collection for a long, long time, and I just never got around to watching it. Tough and Deadly with Billy Blanks and Rowdy Piper. This was actually really good. They did another film as well. I think it was called Back in Business. But Tough and Deadly was really, really good. I really enjoyed this. It was a bit silly. Directed by Steve Cohen. It's only 85 minutes long as well. And what year was it? 1995. Billy Blanks now teaches martial arts out of his garage, and Roddy Piper teaches nothing because he passed away, sadly. But yeah, Tough and Deadly is a fun movie. Videodrome. I have the Blu-ray of this from Arrow. This is a fantastic film. James Woods is amazing, even though he's a nutcase now. Sonia Smits, Deborah Harry, David Cronenberg, like just doing what David Cronenberg does best. Weird ass body horror, and yeah, cannot knock Videodrome. James Woods is great in that as well. Long Live the New Flesh. Basic Instinct with Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I like Paul Verhoeven movies, but I don't like Basic Instinct. I just don't think it's that good. Michael Douglas is great in it. Sharon Stone is good in it, but it's boring. Patton with George C. Scott and Carl Malden. Great World War II biography of General George S. Patton. Is it George S. Patton? Yeah, George Patton, the World War II general. Also starring Carl Malden. I said that, didn't I? Directed by... Who directed it? Franklin J. Schaffner. But with a screenplay by Francis Ford Coppola and Edmund H. North. Music by Jerry Goldsmith. George C. Scott's cracking in that, by the way. Intersection. I'm going to admit, I bought this in a charity shop and I've never watched it. But it's got Sharon Stone and Lolita Davidovich and Martin Landau. Come on, Pete, read. Directed by Mark Rydell, who was in... He was an actor. He used to be an actor, Mark Rydell, and then he became a film producer and then a film director. What the fuck was he in? Can't remember now. But yeah, I don't know. It could be good. No idea. Midnight Cowboy with Dustin Hoffman and Jon Voight. Directed by John Schlesinger. Classic 70s. Was it 70s or 1969? Yeah, classic late 60s, early 70s drama. Great cast. Jon Voight. Dustin Hoffman playing a character called Ratso Rizzo. Or Ratso Rizzo, I'm sure. Brenda Vaccaro, Jon Voight, John MacGyver, Ruth White, Sylvia Miles, Bernard Hughes. Directed by, like I said, John Schlesinger. Based on the novel by James Leo Herlihy. And screenplay by Waldo Salt. Music by John Barry. Alright, I'm going to do a couple of these at a time. Robin Hood, Men in Tights, love it. Mel Brooks, Carrie Always. Unlike other Robin Hoods, I can do an English accent. Master Robin, you've returned from the war, but you've lost your arms in battle. But you've grown a nice set of boobs. I love Mel Brooks movies. Mel Brooks movies are just crack. They're just good. Even the bad ones are good. Like Dracula Dead and Loving It is not a great movie, but the blood scene where it just keeps bleeding when he's putting the stake into the vampire is just ridiculously silly. But Robin Hood Men in Tights is great. Also has Dave Chappelle in it. Some Kind of Wonderful, John Hughes film. Love this movie. Eric Stoltz, Leah Thompson. I want to say Penelope Ann Miller, but it's not. It's Mary Stuart Masterson. Just good teen drama. What you'd expect from John Hughes' screenplay, directed by Howard Deutsch as well. So, yeah, good movie. Secret of My Success with Michael J. Fox. Again, I think this was this was directed by Herbert Ross, and story by A.J. Carruthers. Who else is in this? Richard Jordan, Margaret Whitten, Helen Slater. Screenplay by Jim Cash and Jack Epps. Yeah, I like Secret of My Success. I just like Michael J. Fox movies. Yeah, that's a good film. I really like that one. Bull Durham with Kevin Costner, Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins. Directed by Ron Shelton. I've got to admit, I've never watched this. Having a collection of this size, it's really difficult to have gotten around to watching everything. But it's in the library, and I will hopefully eventually get around to watching it at some point. But yeah, could be good. The Ring. This is the first Ring, not Ring Zero. This is the first Japanese Ringu by what's his name? Hideo Nakata. Creepy ass movie. With Nail and I, Richard E. Grant, Paul McGann, Richard Griffiths. I don't get it. I don't understand the love for this movie. It's shit. Well, it's not shit. It's just not. It's not my thing. I do not understand why people absolutely just suck its dick. I do not know why. It's Bruce Robinson wrote and directed it. I get it. Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann are great in this film, but it's not my thing. Young Guns, on the other hand, is my thing. Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, Charlie Sheen, Dermot Mulrooney, and Casey Siemaszko. Great movie. Who directed this one? Christopher Kane directed this. And screenplay by John Fusco. Produced by Joe Roth and Christopher Kane. Jack Palance is in this. Terry O'Quinn played Locke in Lost. And Terrence Stamp. Yeah, I like Young Guns. I've got Young Guns 2 somewhere. It's in a... But annoyingly, I've got a Region 1 Young Guns 2 that is in a snapper case. So I can't put it in one of these. But yeah, Young Guns is great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. I prefer this one to the first film, but I do enjoy the first film, which I do also have. I believe it is in the cupboard on our landing area where I store the rest of the DVDs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, awesome film. Razor and Tokar, who are essentially Bebop and Rocksteady, and it also has Master Shredder. Who is in it? It is Paige Turco. I think she played April in the first film as well. David Warner, based on characters created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Animatronic characters by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. And it was directed by Michael Pressman. If I remember rightly, the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film was completely independently produced, I think. I'm not sure. Much like the comic, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is great. Day of the Triffids. Howard Keel and Nicole Morey. This is the classic movie of John Wyndham science fiction bestseller, which bears very little resemblance to the actual story of Day of the Triffids, apart from having just Triffids and a guy in hospital who misses the meteor shower by having his eyes covered because he had an eye operation. However, it's good. Howard Keel's good in it. He plays Bill Mason, who is the main character from the actual story. But instead of being a Triffid, sort of a Triffid farmer, which he is in the novel and in the BBC adaptation from 1982. He is a American sailor because it's Howard Keel. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. This really does need an upgrade. It needs an update because this is a really shit DVD, even though the cover looks pretty cool. But yeah, it's a shit DVD. Carriers extended cut starring Lou Taylor Pucci, Chris Pine, fucking Captain Kirk, Emily Van Camp and Piper Perabo. This is by the Pastor brothers, which is Alex and David Pastor. They wrote and directed this movie. This movie is creepy as hell. Not because it's not a horror film or anything, but it's a sort of end of the world viral outbreak movie, and how like shit just hits the fan. Chris Pine is really good in this. So is Lou Taylor Pucci. Piper Perabo is pretty good. And what's his name? Chris Maloney from Oz, and what's that TV show that's not NYPD Blue? He wasn't in that. What's the not Criminal Minds? Is it Criminal Minds? It's the cop show, the longest running cop show in America. Really good film. Definitely worth checking that out if you like virus movies. U-Turn, Sean Penn, Jennifer Lopez, Nick Nolte, and Joaquin Phoenix. This is directed by Oliver Stone. It's alright. It's alright. It's not my favourite Oliver Stone movie. I don't have a favourite Oliver Stone movie. That's a good point. Actually, my favourite Oliver Stone movie is actually a John Milius movie, which is Conan the Barbarian. And then my second favourite Oliver Stone movie is a Brian De Palma movie, which is Scarface, because he wrote the screenplay for both those movies. And we have the classic Hook by Steven Spielberg, Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins. Robin Williams' name should be before Dustin Hoffman's. Hook's amazing. I love Hook. Rufio, bangarang. Yeah, it's really good. It's Hook. It's Spielberg doing Peter Pan. Of course it's fucking awesome. And it's got a really good score by John Williams as well. Rufio! And we only have 4 left, and that's this bag done. So, first up, we have Crocodile Dundee 1 and Crocodile Dundee 2, mate. You call that a knife? That's not a knife. You have played Knifey Spoony before. Crocodile Dundee 2. I actually prefer Crocodile Dundee 1, although I think a lot of people prefer Crocodile Dundee 1. But Crocodile Dundee 2 is still a fun time at the cinema or on the TV. Scrooged with Bill Murray. This is a sort of modernish take on the Christmas Carol. My favourite version of Christmas Carol is the one with the furry Muppets. Is the best. Therefore, the greatest adaptation of A Christmas Carol of all time is the one where Michael Caine plays it 100% straight against a bunch of Muppets. I love it. It's so good. I was meant to go and see it in with a live orchestra. I was meant to go and see the film Muppet Christmas Carol with a live orchestra back at the end of November last year, but it got cancelled because they found out that the place I was going to go and see it, which is St David's Centre in Cardiff City Centre, it's a huge music auditorium, must be, had that really fucked up, dodgy concrete that was inside it. And so they've closed it and they're not opening it for another 2 years. So that got cancelled, which was really bad. And then, like, less than 2 weeks later, my mum passed away. So, yeah. Directed by Richard Donner. Richard Donner's great. We love Richard Donner. The Cottage, which is a horror comedy directed by Paul Andrew Williams, who kind of made some... He made this and a film called Something to Brighton, Train to Brighton or something like that, which was like a gangster film. And he made Cherry Tree Lane, which is like a home invasion movie, and he just vanished. But this is the best film that he has made so far. Absolutely bonkers, gory. It's got who is in it? Andy Serkis, Reece Shearsmith, Stephen O'Donnell, Jennifer Ellison from I think she was in Brookside at one point. Yeah, I mean, I quite like it. It's a bit of a like throwback to the backcountry slasher movies, but with a very British sensibility in it. It's got Reece Shearsmith, for fuck's sake. Of course it's going to be weird. And finally in this bag, we have No Way Back, starring Russell Crowe, Helen Slater, and Etsushi Toyokama. This is directed by Frank Capello. It was written and directed by Frank Capello. And who else is in it? Michael Lerner and Ian Ziering from... I believe he's the main star from the Sharknado movies and recently got attacked on the street in LA. I can't remember. 2 men, 2 motives, 1 enemy. I have seen this, but I can't really remember much about it. I will watch it again at some point. I've said that about every single film. Oh, I will watch it again at some point. No, you won't, Pete. You'll just leave it in the plastic wallet and you'll never ever see it again. And you'll be like, oh, maybe I should have watched it. Yes, well, you didn't. Now the end of the world has happened and you're a zombie and you can't watch movies because you have no actual brain function. All you want to do is eat flesh. Well, that's my inner monologue as a zombie. So there we go. That is the first bag. It's a bit dusty because they've been under my bed. The other bag that has the sleeves in contains 200 movies. I probably won't do all 200 in one go because this video is over an hour long already, so that video would probably be about 2 hours because there is 70 there and however many loosey goosies there as well. So thanks everyone for the comments on the previous videos. This is, like I said, part 5. I will be at some point, if I can show you, I will be at some point doing the DVDs up there. The only reason I haven't done them today was because we've got a house viewing coming tomorrow, and so I didn't want to put all the DVDs piled up and then have to stretch up and do them. So I was like, I've got the bag at hand, it's there, I can just go through that quickly. And yeah, so I've refilled, I don't know if you can see, let me zoom in. I have refilled DVD corner with the videos, with the stuff from the last video. This is zoom us out. And now I'm just going to sort all the Blu-rays and the DVDs out by here. We've seen all these. All the Blu-rays are stuff that has been in previous videos, so I don't really need to show them. And I've shown you my Blu-ray collection in the past, anywho. So, thank you everyone for comments. Thanks for watching and just being fucking awesome. As usual, stay tuned. There will be a part 6, probably a part 7, until I absolutely run out of time to record videos. So, as usual, giving you a salute, throwing up the peace sign, and I'm going to tell you I'm out. Cheers. Thanks everyone. Have a good one.